It is that time of year, my AKAPADers. It's horror season. It's October. It's the 31 Days of Dread, where we do on this podcast, AKAPAD, the Film Buff Podcast. That's me. We do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. This year, it's nothing but black and white movies. Let's go. The comments section. It's always in the comments section. Recently on AKAPAD, the Film Buff Podcast, I was told within the comments section that I can't watch, not me, the Film Buff, because we know the Film Buff puts in the work, but the audience, you guys. I cannot watch a silent movie. I tried watching it. This is what we're dissecting, launching this year's 31 Days of Dread. Look, we're talking today, Phantom of the Opera, Lon Chaney, 1925, the first great visual makeup artist, maybe the greatest special effects artist, like the first great one, Lon Chaney. We're dissecting a little bit of like what it takes for the modern American filmgoer to truly go back in time, transport yourself, experience these films for the first time. You have to do some work. I am sorry, my AK Patters. Now, if it's not for you, I get it. Which is why I tell you guys a little bit about why these films are important, even today. Like today, for example, the Universal Horror super franchise that started in 1913. There's a lot of literature out there that marks Dracula 1931 as the point. 6 years later. Why? The Universal Monster started in 1913, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Continues in 1923, Hunchback of Notre Dame. And finalizes, the silent era wraps up in 1925, The Phantom of the Opera. Universal Studios just built it's called Epic Universe. And they're targeting to become the focal point now of Disney Vacations. I know they're targeting children with it, but they want the Disney adult to want to visit Epic Universe while they're on their Disney trips and maybe eventually become the focal point of Florida Vacations. Now, Disney adults are I think it I get it, guys, and I've been going to Disney for a very long time, but the Disney adult thing, weird. Let me just put that one out there. Whoa, weird. I would say the YouTube Disney adult, effing weird. I always like Universal anyway, just because you can get hashtag lit in that park. You can literally transverse yourself all day in that hot humidity, that hot Florida sun. But you can transverse yourself drinking nothing but tall boys and eating the saltiest of the soft food and then getting whipped around a couple of roller coasters and then, I don't know, being grateful that you don't puke it up in the hotel pool by the time you get back. So, the Universal Horror franchise, I call it a super franchise because it really goes back to 1913. It's as deep as a franchise at this point that Wizard of Oz is. It really is. Wizard of Oz and Universal Monsters, in my view, toe-to-toe of constantly being in the public eye on the big level. Later, we will get Superman. Later, we will get Batman. But these guys go to, the turn of the century. Like, holy crap. But in Universal, in everything that they just built, they spent billions of dollars building this park. They have a whole Universal Monsters section. It's a draw. It's there. They're drawing on the lore and the ideas and even like the impression and the feelings of these movies. Phantom of the Opera, of these three, Dr. Jekyll, Hunchback, Phantom. Phantom is, and thank you Broadway musical. Elise is one of the ones that has gotten a revolving door of updates and TV specials and presentations. A little bit more in the public eye, a little bit more acceptable, a little bit more always within the culture. If you just want to compare it to something, compare it to Lone Ranger, to how Lone Ranger, revolved into the culture, revolved out. Hunchback, not so lucky. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, not so lucky. But the Phantom of the Opera is, again, it's a tortured saga. It's a tortured story. It's built on the human condition. It's built on acceptance. And like Hunchback, right? Like absolutely tragic wrap-up. Tragic ending. It's a little bit of King Kong, right? And we'll talk about that later this year for the 31 Days of Dread. This is another one. I think the music's there. I think the music's tight. I like waiting for title cards to pop up just to get a little bit. It's interesting because the title cards pop up and your brain, there's like a cognizant thing where your brain sees an action. It sees something. But your brain has to catch up to it, and you get the title card, and like bang, you're told. I think that's storytelling at its height. I think if anyone out there, if you're a young filmmaker, train yourself in this method. Study the old silent movies and make a few of your own, and see if you can weave a constant, easy flow narrative as, again, what they were doing here in 1925, because there is an ease to the narrative that I think is like an institutional knowledge thing where they know the beats, they know what to do, they know to lay it down. The makeup, look, we all know the final revelation. Remco, when I was growing up, had 3.25-inch Universal Studios monster movies, and my father bought me those. I had them all but the Mummy. There was Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, Phantom, and Wolfie and Mummy. I had them all, and I believe there might be glow-in-the-dark variants of those, but they've been reproduced and kind of refabricated, or other lines took inspiration from this. And maybe they were Remco, but Remco also had the model kits, and they did model kits of, again, the Universal monsters, DC characters. That was mostly Batman, Robin, and I believe some Marvel characters. But again, like the greatest hits then are just still the greatest hits now, outside of these movies, outside of the Phantom of the Opera. But the revelation of the Phantom's face as he's playing on the organ, as the woman, the girl, the love of his life, betrays him and steals the mask. And up until that point, the mask came down to his like bottom lip. Insanely creepy. It had a little bit of a tissue, like lace film that went over the mouth and down to the chin. It looked porcelain, looked reflective, absolutely expertly designed to unnerve you as you stared at it on screen. The revelation moment where the mask is snatched could be the first absolute great cinematic moment that we have in history. We like to kind of go to Buster Keaton with the time clock, and Charlie Chaplin with the kid, or Charlie Chaplin with playing good old Adolf. Like these are some of the early silent film moments that resonated and stuck generation to generation. But the revelation of the Phantom of the Opera, and knowing, again, by reading the title card, seeing the acting on screen, the exaggerated emotions, the almost mime-like presentation of some of these actors and actresses, we feel the emotion there. We feel the betrayal. The betrayal is heartbreaking, but the curiosity is there. For the audience, the curiosity is there. And the audience is torn. And that's the most important part with that scene. AKAPADers. Yet another movie you can Google, you can search, you can get. Check this movie out, and please just stick with it if it doesn't click. Try it a few times. put it away, come back to it. AKAPAD, this is the 31 Days of Dread. I love you guys. Rock and roll.
Roll sound.
Rolling. Sound production, take 2.
Let's take this time real quick, AKAPADers, my fellow film buffers, and let's just go over the schedule. This is years in the making. This type of rollout I've been planning for years, but we're finally here. So here we go. Early in the morning, that's the new stuff. 8 a.m. Now, 8 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these are movies maybe of something coming out. Like if there's a Marvel movie coming out and we want to do a retrospective on that particular franchise, or, if Sylvester Stallone comes back and gives us Rocky Part 18, we might want to use the later time slots for a week or two to go over all of the Rocky movies. Now, we have a lot of different threads on this podcast that's explored 8 p.m. So 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., this is our creator spotlight. We could do an episode on Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, some of the new guys, Spike Lee, even composers, guys like John Williams. This brings us into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning. Again, we're back at that 8 a.m. drop. We do cartoons because I want to emulate the times where you would wake up with a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then eventually you would get to touch grass because you would have one of your friends knocking on your door to play in a touch football game or even some baseball, basketball. The weekend nights, let's get into education. 8 p.m. Again, all of our drops are either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. But the weekend nights, documentaries, and I focus on creative documentaries because I feel like a part of this film buff movement that we're all bathing in, that I'm super grateful for, is education. And some of where we're finding our facts, some of the, general enjoyment, because I love documentaries. All of this is explored at 8 o'clock p.m. And trust me, there's a lot there. There's a lot out there that I didn't even know existed. And we're going to go beyond that too. We're going to get into some of the graphic art, some of the special effects, some of the makeup documentaries. There's a lot to learn, and I'm so happy to bring you the 9 p.m. because, guys, you guys know I'm an autodidact. I am self-educated. Sure, I have some certifications. Sure, I spent time at the Art Institute of Philadelphia for animation. But in large, I'm a self-educated, self-made person that's connected to the weekend 8 p.m. drops. My AKAPADers, my film buffers, I hope to see you there for all of it. I love you guys, and rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.